All right, son of a buck, we are here yet again to talk about Survivor 39. As always, we have the lovely Deb. How are you doing, Deb?
Fabulous. And all I can say about this episode is holy fuckity fuck.
Yeah. And joining us is a special guest. Since Allison's not here, I decided to bring in my mom to be a guest for the show. Are you here with us, Mom?
I am.
All right. She said that she doesn't want to be on video, but she wanted to watch Survivor and give her input. Mom, have you been keeping up with the whole season, or is this your first time watching in a while?
This was my second episode.
Of the season?
Yeah, I'm not as dedicated nowadays as you guys are.
Well, what did you think about this episode? I mean, I remember like our experience with watching like Survivor Borneo, Australia together. How has the show changed from your perspective since those good old glory days?
I don't think it's as spontaneous and competitive as it was when it first started.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But tonight was a great episode. What happened to Dan?
Okay, so long story short, what happened with Dan, a couple weeks ago, well, actually all season, he's been really being a little too touchy with the women.
Very inappropriate.
And in the merge episode, they showed like a huge montage of him just like really inappropriately like touching women's like backs and legs and stuff like that. And the women decided to use this to their advantage to further themselves in the game, instead of really standing up for some really inappropriate behavior going on.
But one person complained about the inappropriateness, and then two others used it as an advantage for themselves.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Because at the end of the show, it said that it had nothing to do with an incident with another player or whatever. And I was like, okay, then, and it was off camera. So I was like, okay, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, so he had been warned by production.
Hitting on.
Sorry, go ahead, Deb.
Yeah, so he's probably hitting on production.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, who else is there besides cast and crew, right?
Production, exactly.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see if anything ever comes out of it, publicly, or does he just go away, or does he get pissed off at what they made him leave, and then it comes out in the media,
Yeah, well, I will say that he has been very silent on Twitter all season long about anything to do with Survivor. Actually, an article just broke during the episode. Can we
talk about that? Yeah.
Yeah. So an article just came out during the episode that basically says how Mom, like the reunion is always live after the finale is over.
Yep.
So for the first time in Survivor history, they are taping it beforehand instead. And they're saying because of sensitive topics and just to protect the cast. So that really pisses me off, to be honest. It sounds to me like
they've done that, right?
Yeah, it's the first time they've done that. It sounds to me like Dan won't be invited, and they're just gonna have like an open forum conversation about it. Is that your take on this, Deb?
I think that it may get heated. I think some people are going to be confronted. I definitely think that there may be some backlash from fans.
Yeah.
Because there's that little group of people, those little naysayers that say, "Oh, he didn't do anything wrong," although they video evidence, to the contrary.
Yeah.
And, there could be some protesting or whatever, because, there's so many freaking trolls, and, they just want to support these scumbags. And if there's any question as to whether or not Dan is a scumbag, there is no question. He is a goddamn scumbag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree, Deb. So now that we talked about that, of course, we'll probably get into it a little bit more later, but let's recap the episode. I feel like this was Dean's like coming out episode in terms of like finally being a player in this game, being a contender for somebody to win. And of course, we saw the preview for the finale. He was shown pretty heavily as like Dean's going to become the villain.
And Tommy realizing he's coming to the realization that Dean is actually playing the game and he's not just a goat. And now
I've been saying it all season long. He's not just a pretty face. He is an actual contender in this game too.
Well, you know, sometimes you gotta like keep your mouth shut and just coast until you get to the end and then start making your moves.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Make your moves quietly and then, you know, at the end, make them loud.
Yeah. Mom, what did you think about Dean's visit to Island of the Idols tonight?
I think he's sneaky.
In a good way?
No, I think he could be a backstabber. I think if I were playing a game, I would watch him.
Now, who out of the people did you like tonight?
I don't know all their names. I like the little lady with the short hair.
Elaine?
Brown. Yeah, she's an older lady.
Oh, Janet.
She was.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And because she seemed like she played the game pretty good, I thought.
Yeah,
But
and
like I said,
usually
I've only
we
seen
see
like that.
usually we see the older woman being taken out like first or second in the game. That's pretty common on Survivor. So I mean, it's incredible to me that Janet is making the finale night, and she didn't even have to use her idol tonight. She still has it in her possession. That to me is the most impressive. The fact that like we got all of this set up for like, you know, Janet got an idol, Dean got an idol nullifier, and neither of them went through this round without playing it, and they're holding on to that. And with Dan going, they're going into final 5 with both of those things. I think that's very important to look at.
My question is, why did Elaine not say anything about Janet's idol? Because she knew that Janet had the idol. I mean, could she have like made a plea and put the target on Janet because she has an idol and make them flush the idol?
I think that gets a little too cute. I think if Elaine didn't win tonight, she was definitely going home. I don't think that there was much to be done. Anyway.
So why screw Janet?
Yeah, I think that so the move that we did see Elaine do tonight was really get in Lauren's head really effectively. And I liked it.
And Janet.
But she really reminded Lauren, you know, the door might be closing on your opportunity to win this game. And it really had Lauren starting to think like, you know, is it time for me to turn on Tommy? And I was sitting there being like, yes, turn on Tommy. Take him out. Let's go.
This was the time to turn on Tommy.
It was.
Yeah, because he was open, no immunity. Tonight was the night to turn on Tommy, and they passed on it.
Definitely. We have a comment in the chat for Mom. They say Tyler's mom has a really pretty voice. So there you go.
And she has a pretty son.
Oh, stop it.
I love you.
I can't wait to get those cookies on Saturday.
They're gonna be good.
So of course, what else do we have here?
Tommy lying to Lauren about bringing her to final 3.
Say that again.
Tommy lying to Lauren about bringing her to final 3.
Yeah. So it looks like both of them are really starting to say like, you know, is it really my best plan of action to take the other person to the end, you know, especially when Nora is still in the game, especially when Dean is still in the game.
I would not have left Nora in the game. She is too strong.
Yeah.
I mean, even though she's a goat, still physically she is way too strong.
Yeah.
And she can her way to the end.
Yeah, I agree.
And that should be a real red flag for Elaine and Lauren. And Elaine should have made that case also.
Yeah.
How many individual immunities she has won. And that is a real threat, even though she's not a threat to win. she's a threat to get to the end. And if she gets to the end, either Lauren or Janet does not.
What did you think about Elaine getting emotional at Tribal Council tonight?
She should have held that. That put the nail in her coffin.
I agree. I totally agree. If I was one of those players in the game and Elaine has this like beautiful sob story about like my mother passed away 3 months ago, and it's not a sob story, like it really happened. It is, exactly. That's something you pull out of your pocket.
I love her, but that's something you hold to the finale, and that the things that she should have brought up was Nora and her physical abilities, and possibly Janet's idol.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
no, I totally agree. And maybe that just speaks to maybe the show kind of played up a little bit more than what it actually was in terms of Elaine having a chance to stay. Maybe this was like her just like very, very last thing she could have done. But you know, it's I feel like this was the robbed goddess spot. Usually it's around like final four. But everything has been weird about this season.
Because everybody on the jury was crying, and it's just like, damn girl, you just killed your game.
Yeah.
You know, because if you have all the people sitting there with you that's going to vote for you or against you crying, and you have jury crying, your ass is getting voted out.
Yeah.
Because you got everybody's sympathies.
Yeah. We have a question in the chat. Mom's having some internet issues, so she's going to bounce for now. Kevin Lee asked in the chat, if Dean plays his idol the next episode, who will he play it for? I hope not Tommy. I could certainly see that happening, and it would really make me mad. But I mean, at this point, like, why would you use it on anybody except for yourself? You know, this is the last time that you can play it. Just play it for yourself to guarantee yourself.
He has the idol nullifier.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. So yeah, he doesn't have his. So Janet should play it next round. So I mean, I think that Dean should use that advantage no matter what.
Dean knows that she has the idol. So perhaps he could make her play it and then nullify it, and then Janet will go home. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Oh, I think my mom's back. I'm gonna add her and see if that works this time. So I think you know, if I'm in Janet's shoes, just play the idol next round. You can't like just guarantee yourself to final four. She doesn't know that Dean has the idol nullifier, so just play the thing. And even though it's like the expected move, it would still give Dean a little bit of something to show off to the jury a little bit. I feel like as Survivor's going on, it's more about these like ridiculous like performances at Tribal Council. I'm thinking about like Rick Devens last season, just all the antics that gets seen like in front of that entire jury, and how effective that is in terms of making them feel like they are like real good players in the game. Mom, are you back? Maybe yes. No. Nope.
I'm back.
Okay. Feel free to keep listening along. I'm not sure if your audio is stable enough, Mom.
Can we talk about Dean going to the Island of Idols and how he was like Sandra and Rob about his idea of putting votes on himself and using his fake legacy?
Hey, Sandra herself said, "This kid's a genius." But I feel like he's like stumbling into this. Like it's certainly not a mad scientist like maniacal like Tony type of situation. I think that Dean is just a young buck who doesn't really know what he's doing. I feel like Dean is the human form of like a golden retriever in terms of like he's just like bless his heart, he's just like dumb and sweet.
Bless his heart.
But I did think that he played the game as best as he could, and a lot of people are like down on it was just a coin flip, like this twist is like really gone to shit. But I actually liked it because a big part of Survivor is luck. And he didn't have to take that. He could have been like Janet and said, "Nope, I don't want to play. I'm good." But he took a risk.
Is risky.
50-50. And to lose your vote at final 7, that's scary. That could really, I mean, every vote counts at that point.
Yep.
And I think that he picked the right advantage too out of the 3.
Yeah. Yeah, because he already knew that Janet had the idol. So
yes. Yeah.
That was good on his part. So,
and I also liked how he tried to like fish some information out of Rob and Sandra about like, I have this advantage. Is it fake?
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't say that, but try everything you can, And Sandra's like, no, the only person that can say yes or no is Jeff, not me.
I love her.
I love her too. I didn't really like the fishing montage for Boss and Rob, but I think that kind of made like the crazy cat ladies all pretty happy at home, probably.
Yeah. I like
what else here?
Where Sandra was saying how much she loved Elaine.
Yeah, I mean, Sandra's pretty much loved everybody that's came to the Island of the Idols.
But like seriously, how can you not love Elaine?
Right. So I think that out of anybody this season, I think Elaine will be back again for another season.
I think so. She's just so charismatic.
Yeah, and such a unique character in the Survivor universe.
Funny, and just she is good TV.
Yep.
You said, oh, when she went into the immunity competition, she took one look at it, and she's like, "Oh no, words! Dang it!"
Well, she was pretty close. I mean, it was down to her and Dean at the end there. And man, what a different story it would be if she won the immunity.
Yeah.
Pokemon says in the chat, I love Boss and Rob commenting on Dean flexing at Tribal. I don't know what Rob's obsession with Dean's flexing is, but I feel like this is the 3rd time that we've panned to Boss and Rob being like, look at Dean, he's flexing again. Look at him flexing those muscles. And I'm like,
he's jealous because Dean
is jealous.
Boss and Rob has a dad bod. He's like dad bod. And Dean does not have a dad bod.
Right, exactly. I'm sure he will someday, but no, he's looking pretty good right now. Of course, we saw, we checked in with Tommy a lot this week. Once again, I'm still pretty convinced that Tommy is the winner. It's pretty obvious to me. But
how did they not even think to take him out? I don't even know.
I feel like there have been multiple times where the target should have been him. And I don't necessarily credit him for the going off of him. Does that make sense? Like, so say Tommy wins the season, like, where would you say he falls amongst like all the Survivor winners? Do you think he's like one of the top winners, or like middle of the pack, or lower?
No, definitely lower, because he didn't do anything. He just, I don't even know. I guess, he had a good social game, so that was it. But moves,
right?
What moves?
Like, you had teaching time with Tommy last week. Like,
my eyes are still rolling in the back of my head from that.
Right. He actually tweeted, he was like, I love how the Survivor community thinks I'm so entertaining and so funny for that teaching with Tommy moment last week. He was being so sarcastic. Like, he knows that everybody was not here for that.
I know, because I tweeted him back about it.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just reading the chat right now too. Of course, they say Sarahwin says, "Let the ginger win." I want Tommy to get out Dean next. No, I feel like out of everybody left, I think man, what a great final 5 though. Like, let's like the 5 people left. We have Tommy, Lauren, Janet, Dean, Nora. I feel like I don't know. Like, would you be dissatisfied with any of these people winning?
I'm
pretty okay with it either way.
Yeah. because I've been on like on Facebook and on Twitter, and I've been seeing a lot that a lot of people are saying, I don't really care who wins as long as it's not Dan.
Yeah.
And that is not even going to be in the possibilities. So
Yeah.
everybody's going to be happy because they don't give a crap who wins.
Kevin says, how would you feel if another male won? This is where I'm kind of like, I want a female to win. And it's really interesting because I feel like we keep checking in with Lauren, and like I feel like we get her thought process a lot in confessional. We see her connecting those dots, and it's all correct, right? Like she has the right read on people. When she had her visit with Rob and Sandra, like they really showed her to being like a good on everybody. A really great social game. Do you think that she can pull it out over Tommy though?
Well, here's the thing. Tommy verbalized out loud about Dean. Did he verbalize it out loud to everybody else about Dean playing the game? Or was that a confessional?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
When Tommy was realizing that Dean is actually playing the game, was that in a confessional or was he saying that out loud?
It was in a confessional.
It wasn't to the other people? Damn.
No.
Because I was wondering if they knew that he wants Dean out.
Yeah. No, it was all in confessional.
Because then they could use that against him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I mean, I don't know. Like I just really have a gut feeling that Lauren is the one that goes out at Final Four fire making. And I mean, gosh, like what do you think the order is? Do you think the order is like Janet at 5 with the idol nullifier, maybe Lauren at Final 4, and then the final 3 is Tommy, Dean, Nora? That's what I think probably happens, right?
Could be, because they don't want to take Janet to the end.
Yeah.
And they want to take Lauren to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on whether or not Lauren and Janet grow a set and decide to try to flip Dean to take out Tommy.
Yeah, and this is where we will come back to this moment in this week saying you should have taken the shot this week.
Should have taken the shot this week.
Yeah, because now we're on a path to another guy winning yet another season of Survivor. This will be the 7th male winner in a row if Tommy or Dean wins. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Of course, going back to the whole Dan situation, because I keep getting texts from people being like, I can't believe that happened, yada, yada, yada. I can
believe that happened because he's a frickin' pig.
Yeah.
He can't control himself and he feels entitled to whatever he wants to women.
Yeah.
And
do you think that I'm glad that they took action, but it's frustrating to me that it took him doing that to like a member of production,
right,
for them to take action on it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, because Kelly has been made, she lost her game because of it. Yeah.
And this isn't something that happened like at the merge. Like, remember the very first episode? Kelly took Dan onto the beach and said, listen, you got to watch how you're touching people. Like you're coming off the wrong way to all the women.
Yes, exactly. So this wasn't,
and how brave of her to say that in the very first episode.
Yeah, exactly. And she laid it out to him and, and discussed it like an adult, and he disregarded what she had to say and her will. And he continued because he's a scumbag. Yeah.
Well, I just have to say, I'm glad that at least he's not in jury. He's not at Ponderosa at all. And we don't have to worry about, him being at Ponderosa with Kelly and being inappropriate with her. And, it's such a shame, Deb, because Kelly was such an amazing potential of the Survivor player.
Amazing. And
and just ruined it.
Her game. It ruined her
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And it really sad because she had so much potential in this game. So
Yeah.
So
And
they bring her back.
yeah. People in the chat are agreeing. If Kelly was still in the game, guarantee she would have made it. Yep. And what a season that would have been. Yeah. Pokemon says, can we take time to appreciate Nora hanging Dean's shoe on the flag?
She's shady.
I love it. I love that level of petty. It's so funny. Yeah. I feel like that's the kind of crap you would see on like early Survivor.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it.
Petty.
Yes. Okay. Next I want to bring up the bracket that we have. So going into this finale, we are pretty distributed pretty evenly here. So I have Lauren. Andrew has Nora. I think Andrew's probably drawing the most out of all of us. Sorry, Andrew. Kim,
Andrew's a big hit.
Yeah, for half of it for the good, half of it for the bad.
Yeah.
Kim has Janet, and of course Allison has Dean and Tommy. So what do you think about this?
I think Allison's gonna win.
Yeah. And then you and I won't hear the end of it. It'll be like Survivor 50, and she'll be like, "Remember, I won season 39 of Survivor. I told you I picked Tommy."
Yep.
My impression. And my face is just gonna be like, really? Yeah. Let's see. Pokemon says, Dean and Nora, in my opinion, were the best casting decisions this season, not even close. Yeah, so let's talk about that.
I think Elaine is better than Dean.
Yeah, so let me bring up this. I think out of the people, speaking of that, Karishma looked so beautiful tonight.
Ravishing.
Like, and she looked pissed too. So her entrance to Tribal was everything I wanted. Yeah, so I think out of the people this season, I think that who we can expect to see back or like memorable characters, of course, I think Kelly will get a second shot at some point. Nora is such a gem in terms of casting and television.
Yeah.
And Elaine, of course, as well. I think that's pretty much it, right?
Janet is good, but I don't think that she's going to want to play again.
Yeah, I think her story's been told.
Yeah. She's fun, so I really think that they would want to bring her back.
Karishma was memorable, but there's no way in hell she's doing.
No, she's not doing it again. She did it. She's one and done. You know.
I listened to her exit interview with Rob Has a Podcast, and she was so thankful to have made it that far in the game. She was like, she was very proud of herself and how she got a lot farther than she expected to. So good for her for being proud of her performance and not really focusing on like the negative parts of her edit or anything.
Right. But the thing is that, not a lot of people will point out to her is that she did have game. She had good game. She was getting into people's heads.
She's still the only person to play her idol successfully.
Exactly.
The entire season. So
yeah. So
I have a friend who texted me. She said, "Have you talked about how next episode they're going to the island?" Yeah. So it looks like in the preview for the finale, the cat's finally out of the bag, like we've been talking about for weeks. They bring all of them to Rob and Sandra, and Rob's like, this is your last challenge. I'm gonna, you're gonna do one more challenge with us. I think that's probably just them introducing like the final immunity challenge, probably. What do you think?
Probably, yeah. I don't think that they're gonna give them any type of advantage. Maybe someone could win an advantage. There are times where they can win an advantage. Maybe to see the competition ahead. Maybe someone could win that advantage to know what the competition is so they can practice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's going to be, and they'll all have an opportunity to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who knows? But I'm glad that they're like finally, because once Rob said tonight to Dean, he was like, you can use that you played this game successfully with us in your final tribal council. And I was thinking, like, Rob's basically saying that, like, by the time final tribal council hits, the cat's going to be out of the bag about them being on that island, right?
Right.
So that's
basically this
I'm
goes
glad
on
to
your
see that.
resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, play it right. And
we
it
had
goes on your resume.
we had in the chat somebody said that Kelly put out a tweet, so I just pulled that up, and so I'll read this out loud. Sorry, the air is like really dry in here. Tonight, so this is
Powerade.
right. So Kelly just put out a tweet. She said, tonight on Survivor, Dan was kicked off the show for once again inappropriate touching. While Dan's dismissal has validated the concerns that I raised from the beginning of the season, I wish no one had to be subjected to this type of behavior. Survivor were on notice of Dan's behavior from the very first days of the game. And as the Survivor fans know, shortly after I spoke on camera, I was voted off the show. Since then, I've accepted genuine, heartfelt apologies from fellow castaways, but I've continued to feel disappointed by how this pattern of behavior was allowed to occur for so long. Yes, totally agree.
Absolutely.
While I wish many things had gone differently, I'm glad that my decision to speak up made a difference. What's most important to me now is how all of us, CBS, Survivor, other organizations, and all of us as individuals decided to learn from the story and commit to take action. Lastly, I'm grateful to the many people who have reached out to me over the last few weeks to share their stories. These messages of feeling and supported and believed have been an incredible gift. Thank you. What a class act.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What a please CBS, if you're watching, you're probably not watching. First, cast me. Second, bring Kelly back for another season.
Please.
Yeah.
That's the least they can do for her.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that would be a way to kind of shift the course back in terms of their favor and righting a wrong that
Exactly.
they really
To make it right.
really screwed up this season.
Yeah, because her speaking up to the group fucked her game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's the only way they can make it right is to bring.
Let's see. Pokemon says, in a Dean, Nora, Tommy final three, who do we see as the second place finisher between Dean and Nora? I have to think Dean, right?
Dean. Nora doesn't have the respect of the jury.
No.
She doesn't. I mean, she has just been, I love her. She was entertaining and everything, but her game was, she was not trustworthy. She was flip-flopping and batshit crazy and zero respect from the jury. And that's why, even though she is a physical beast, they are not afraid of taking her to the end because they know that nobody respects her.
Yeah. I think Nora's edit is really similar to Julie's last season, who was a 0 vote losing finalist.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen a lot of her, but it's not necessarily been the most positive or the most full Survivor player story, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I hope it's not just like a clean sweep. I hope Tommy doesn't get like 11 or 13 or whatever, however many people there were again.
Fight.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that Dean has certainly deserved at least a vote or two.
Absolutely. Or more.
Yeah. I mean, he's won more immunity challenges than Tommy now.
Right. So, he's won immunity challenges and now he's got this idol nullifier. And, if he plays it right and he just won immunity, and it's towards the end, so it's still fresh in the jury's mind.
Yeah.
And, if hopefully he can win another immunity and and take Tommy, and then if he takes Tommy, I win the game.
Yeah. So some closing thoughts. Joseph says, I think Kelly hates that it took this long for Dan to be disqualified. Let's be real. I think so too.
I think
I mean,
we all
she said it in her tweet. Yeah.
I think we all hate that it took this long. She was complaining on day one.
Yeah.
So for him to go after, production.
Yeah.
To realize this guy is a freaking creep.
Mm-hmm.
He's a predator.
Yeah. So I think that does it for this episode of Survivor. Of course, we have the finale next week. Are you excited?
I'm excited. I am excited.
I'm excited for the preview of season 40 that we're going to get. That's going to be so epic. I'm going to rewatch that on YouTube like a million times.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So, of course, locking in, who do you think is ultimately the winner? I think it's Tommy.
I think it's Tommy. Unless they make this big move to take Tommy out, Tommy's going to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next round, it's done.
So guys, next week, the finale, of course, is next Wednesday. Since it runs so late, we're going to wait until Thursday to go live and talk about our impressions of the finale. Probably the really sensitive reunion that's probably going to follow, and of course the preview for season 40. So very excited for that. What else? Allison usually does all this housekeeping stuff at the end. Of course, you guys can catch us on Sequester this Sunday. I think Bill will be steering the ship, and I think we have Judd on for our guests on Sunday. So Judd, and Bill, that will be a really good crew to watch. And of course, the exit interviews with me and Allison and whoever gets eliminated from Sequester, that will be coming Tuesday. So you'll be getting some new content from us Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Allison won't be here for the finale, but I think we have Beth joining us for the finale discussion. So it'll be us two and Beth for that.
Okay. Love Beth.
Yeah. And I think that's it. So, of course,
you can find you, Tyler.
You can find me on Twitter. I hate doing this to myself. You can find me on Twitter at @2lions, and if you need a wedding photographer, go to scratchstudios.co, not .com, to look at some of my work and start the conversation there. Deb, where can we find you?
At My Next Life Debbie on Twitter.
Perfect. Sorry, my throat is like so dry right now.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored. Unless you want us to be a sponsor and give us money, then we'll drink all the Powerade during the show. Thank you guys again for tuning in. We love and appreciate all of you guys' support. Make sure to like and subscribe My Weekly Meltdown for updates. And we will see you on Sunday. And thanks, Allison, for letting me steer the ship this week. We hope everything is okay with you. I know you got a lot going on, so we just want to send our best wishes to you as well while you're out this week. Nothing but love. All right, bye guys. Take care.
I like the background. It looks like we're in the woods.
Thank you. See what happens when I steer the ship?
I know. We're like in the jungle.
All right, bye guys.